What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and today we're going to cover the heroic battle from Chapter 5, Mission 2. That's Kitty Pryde versus X-23. In this heroic battle, you can win an empowered ISO weight for both of these characters. This first fight is going to be my very first attempt, and I was using the Shadowcat Kitty Pryde costume. I have to say, this alternate costume makes this pretty easy, and so afterwards I will use the default costume, and I'll walk you through it. My main recommendation would be to use either costume, just stay away from the scrapper. That's of course because X-23 is a bruiser. Now Shadowcat Kitty Pryde has it made because she starts phased, and she has Strike from the Shadows. So all you want to do with her is first use Lockheed, and that's because it will not break stealth. For this fight, X-23 luckily has her health restored by healing factor reduced. And the key to this one is going to be to maintain stealth as long as you can, and still do damage. If you're lucky enough to place Burning with Lockheed, this will be a continual source of damage. In this fight, to reduce damage dealt to you, you could even stay unfazed as long as possible. If you are struggling or taking a lot of damage, that is something you should consider. For me, I'm going to come out of phased and use our sneak attack. This can be a pretty big damage ability, but then again, so is made for walking. Luckily, we do get our Call Lockheed counter, and then also we still have Strike from the Shadows. So that's going to be the end of the fight with Shadowcat Kitty Pryde. It's certainly much easier than the default costume, or at least in this case it was. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the two E-ISO that you can win. First, the Draconian Empowered ISO weight. This grants lockdown. Kitty will counter all attacks with Lockheed while not phased. Next we have X-23s, and that's called the Aromatic Empowered ISO weight. This gives her Killer Instinct, preemptively applies Trigger Scent when attacking, if X-23 doesn't have Berserker Rage. And let's see if we're lucky enough to win either one of these E-ISO. Unfortunately, we do not. So what I'm going to do now is show you the end dialogue, and then we'll skip all that for the next attempt. In that one, I'll just use the default costume, and I'll walk you through the entire process. There are definitely things you can do to make the whole battle a lot easier. One of the main things is to go into stealth early, and stay in it as long as you can. You could even use Soothing Rest, that way you could recharge while you're in stealth, and you won't be damaged, plus you could regen health. That's probably one of the biggest tips that I can give you if you're having any trouble with this one at all. Alright, so let's jump right into the next attempt, and like I said, I am using the default costume. I ended up using her first ability, and that's Phased Attack, because I wanted her to go phased as early as possible. But to be honest with you, you could probably use her level 6, and that's because X-23 uses Bloodthirst. As long as you didn't have to worry about an attack, you could hold off on going phased. So that's just something I do want to note. Next, you will want to go phased, and then follow that up with a Lockheed. Finally, when you feel you're ready to attack, use Sneak Attack, which should do quite a bit of damage. Now we got pretty unlucky right there and we actually missed our big attack. However, we do get a Lockheed counter. So now what you'll want to do, or at least what I did, was apply Expose to X-23 and wait until I could go back into phased. You will definitely want to return to that as soon as possible. There's really nothing that X-23 can do once you're in phased mode. That's the entire key to the battle. You have to take advantage of the fact that she cannot hit you. Once phased, you can always use Lockheed and it will not break it. At that point, you can take your time and hopefully you won't miss that sneak attack. Like I said earlier, you could use the Recovering Empowered ISO weight, which grants Soothing Rest. This would cause you to gain HP back whenever you recharge, and you could easily use this while in phased. It's pretty much that simple, and it's even easier than I made it look there. I should have probably done a Shadow Kick to begin with, and it would have helped if we didn't miss our first sneak attack. But now let's see if we gain any new empowered ISO weight by giving this roulette a spin. I wouldn't mind winning either one of these, but they're certainly not at the top of my list in Chapter 5. Still, I'm sure many of you are like me, and you have to catch them all. I guess it's that Pokemon or collector mentality. Unfortunately, once again we miss out, and we actually get a pretty useless item. I guess I'll just have to keep farming this one, and I'll make sure I finish up the rest of these heroic battle videos very soon. I realize that many of you have already beaten all of them, and you don't need much help. So I'm going to try my very best to release other videos whenever I do them. For today, hopefully you check out the From the Helicarrier podcast at twitch.tv/the Helicarrier. There will be a new All Hail the King segment there covering Rocket Raccoon. Lastly, I want to thank you all for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.